Hello, everyone. We're here today with Create with Franz to help you to get the right mindset so you can get the right positioning for your work search. What happens is that nowadays there are lots of people that are looking for something. They want a good career. They want to return to work after being dismissed or after the company closed down, after raising kids, after being ill and coming back, after being divorced. And they send their CVs and nothing happens. And their CVs is very long. It's a resume full of qualifications, masters, PhDs, experiences, foreign languages, software. Nothing happens. And you're like, what have I done wrong? ChatGPT helped me to do this and still it's not working. So I thought I'd help you with my amazing guest coming all the way from Europe today. And her name is Aleksandra Lemańska. So let's start in order by saying hello. Hi.
Hi, Franz. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited because today you're going to help us to solve this worldwide problem of having the jobs disappear because our CV is not passing through all those AI filters that are stopping everything. And do you want to introduce yourself? You are so many things. You've done everything and you're much younger than me. So who are you and why you can help us with this?
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Aleksandra Lemańska. Kudos for you for reading my last name pretty well. I'm Alex, and I live in Poland, in the middle of the Europe right now, and I'm a former violinist turned engineer in management turned organizational psychologist, and for the last 6 years. And so I'm running my own business, creating organizations, so supporting leaders or creating organizations that people don't quit and don't hate. I was a recruiter at the very beginning of my career, and then I supported a lot of different organizations in creating the environment that's going to help people not to burn them out. So this is why I'm here, and I would love to give you some tips and tricks and some answers to why this is happening for you or to you, depends on the type of mindset that you have, that you're sending so many resumes, so many CVs, and nobody's giving you any feedback, even the rejection feedback.
Right. And it's a loss. It's a loss for the company who is missing out hiring the right people because their CV gets lost in a sea of words that are not resonating with what the HR department is looking for. So you also told me in your biography that you've been diagnosed with MS. So that's multiple sclerosis. So you're going to show us quite a lot of grit here because instead of being the victim, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this. And you're talking, you have a podcast show as well, right?
Yes.
And you build businesses. So if you can do it, surely you guys in the audience, you can do this. So let's start with issue. Let's go.
Yeah. So the issue is that you're sending multiple CVs, multiple resumes. You're sending them over, you're working on them. As Franz mentioned, AI is helping you, Canva is helping you, and it looks great because you also have a lot of experience, a lot of different projects that you participated in, a lot of different trainings or workshops that you participated in, certifications, and you don't have any feedback whatsoever, even the rejection feedback, even the no is not coming. So this is a huge issue, and I see it in every single country I'm working with, and this is a global issue. So the question is, because I'm sure, and I was there as well, the question is it something wrong with you? Or maybe it's about the system, because this is more about this question. And I need to tell you, and you need to hear it. Nothing is wrong with you. You're great and you're qualified. And I'm sure that you're sometimes overqualified when it comes to those positions. The real issue is that most of the time, and the bigger organization there is, the more a problem, a systemic problem it is, that robot and automation is the first line of looking, quote unquote, on those resumes. So not even a human is touching your document before 1, 2, or even 3 robots are doing it. So not a lot of people know it, but this is how the processes look like. And sometimes there are those policies in the organizations that if the robot is not putting your resume through their the first line of analysis, let's put it that way, you don't get any message, even the rejection message from the system whatsoever. So this is why. It is not because of you. It is not because you're not uh, prepared enough, you're not qualified enough. It is because of the mechanics of the system. So this is the first thing I want for you to have. And to get to know, to recognize yourself for being qualified, for being prepared. It is just how the system works. It is not perfect, of course. It is not supposed to look like that, but this is just a reality. And we can be mad about it. We can argue if this is a right or wrong situation. We can, use all of this energy, but we can also redirect the energy into something.
Yeah. That is a good point before you move to the next, because this is a mindset and wellness podcast. And the whole thing is, if you keep getting rejection after rejection, you are still going to be eroding the self-confidence and start doubting your own capacity. And so you will be feeling lower and maybe a little bit more humble, maybe ask less money if you get a job, because you're like doubting that you can actually offer that value, and that is going to be reflected in your energy, how you sleep. So it's going to be stressful. So I'm trying here to elaborate how you can improve that. So you talk about your mental wellness. Look at this lack of replies not as a reflection of your value, but a reflection how a system is built. And I give you an example. Well before AI, well before internet was a big thing. I mean, I'm talking about a few years ago. I remember I was in England for many years, and then we decided to move to Italy, thinking, oh, so much good sunshine, we're gonna go there. By then, I had 5 languages, 20 years of experience, 1.5 degrees between design and architecture. I've experienced in 5 different fields. I was a qualified accountant, designer, comic artist trained at Disney. I sent over 200 resumes. Nobody ever replied. We went back to England after a year and a half, 2 years. 3 days I had a job. What was different? I hadn't changed my resume. The system was different. So
yes, that's true, and it wasn't. And thank you for sharing that, Franz, because this is the example that that shows us that it is not about the qualifications, because we are more than qualified, I'm sure, to do most of those jobs that you applied to. The system was different, and the circumstances are different as well, and different countries, different markets need something different from the employees. So this is something that is actionable. So of course we can sit in a corner and cry and do a pity party. We can do it for a moment, okay, to just to let the feelings be there, because they're important, because it is a loss, of course. But then action plan. So what we can actually do with it, because this is the most important thing. So instead of sending 200 similar or even copy and pasted CVs, when you see a job offer, you need to work with your assistant, with your AI, with your co-pilot, all of those tools that are there for us, low costs and zero entry level skills required. Ask them to support you in getting this resume more tailored to the offer, because what the robots and algorithms are looking for are keywords. So if your resume doesn't have an approximate amount of percentage that they're looking for, so for example 80% is the level that they push through the resume to the next level of analysis. If they don't see the keywords exactly how they are formed and in the job description, you're not going to go through there, even if you are fulfilling the requirements. So I know that it might sound like more work, but hey, if you get 100% rejection, so a little bit more work, that will give you more chance to be to be there and the next level of the robot analysis, I think it's worth it. So this is the first one. Then robots and algorithms, and then people. If they're human beings in the process, they are doing it as well. On the next levels of analysis, they are looking for information about you all over the internet. So the question is, what internet knows about you? How well you are positioned as an expert in your area, in your professional career journey. If it doesn't really matter if you're a HR person, if you're an accountant, if you're an actor, if you're a marketing person, if you're an IT person, it doesn't really matter. The question is what the robot or a human will see when they Google you or they use their own LLMs. So positioning yourself on LinkedIn, writing posts, writing articles, being a guest on a podcast like this one, creating your own thing, being a mentor for others, being a buddy for others. All of those things that you can do as a side hustle, put it quote unquote, or just do it inside your organization that you're right now. And this is building your visibility as an expert. So you can do it either internally or externally. So these are three things that you can do. So first of all, tailor your resume. Second of all, build yourself internally as a person, get credentials, get feedback, just put it in one place because this is going to support your mental positioning, so your mindset, but also you can then put it on LinkedIn, you can put it on Facebook, you can put it on all of the things that you can put the information in, and then externally, because what the robot and what the human will see, it is how they will filter you through their lens, and this is going to be a success or the opposite.
Dang. How important do you think it is to do some research and find out what the company ethos is? What is their direction? What do they believe in? Why do they have a high turnover? What are the complaints? Is that going to be still useful?
I think that it might be useful. The question is how much time and effort you are willing to put in this process. Because if you are sending 200 resumes, let's get this example. It is going to be extremely hard for you to do a research about all of those companies, all of those teams. It is doable, but it requires a lot of effort and a lot of time. You can use AI, of course, to do a lot of things for you. What I would do personally and professionally, I would like shorten the amount of companies, amount of organizations that I'm interested in as my top 5, top 10, tops, not more, and look for more information about it. And it is going to be easier for your agent, the AI agent, to look for for the information for you as well, because if you will give them the prompt that give me information about 200 companies, it's going to be too much, even for them. So for you to understand the culture a little bit better, to see what is in there on LinkedIn, on the website, on YouTube, on all of those places, it is something that will give you a competitive advantage once you get into the interview. That I will save the time and effort till the interview, because then you will have a chance to use the knowledge, not only to collect the data, but actually use it in practice.
Right, that makes sense. Thanks. So, what is the next part that happens? So you send your CV. Is it a good idea to then chase up and call the company to see if they found your CV?
The question is, what kind of organization is it? Because if it's a super huge global organization, you don't even have reply email or something like that. There's no reply and no information from the recruiter whatsoever. I've personally did it in the past, and I see some people that are doing it, that they're looking for recruiters, for example, or sometimes in their job descriptions, there are names of hiring managers, and they're chasing them on LinkedIn. It can be a good idea if done nicely, because it is like a thin line between being creepy a little bit and actually being the person that actually is passionate about what they're doing. So if I would do it, something like that, I would say, hey, I send my resume to the position named X, because this is super important, especially if you're applying for multiple positions in one organization. So you actually know what kind of position you're applying to. And you don't have any feedback, so you just wanted to check if the process is still open, because sometimes they are closed and nothing is happening. And this is a nice and easy information that you can easily send to those people. I wouldn't be too pushy about it and don't say send multiple messages, because in my recruitment times, I had those experiences that people did something like that. Even if I did reply that a process is still in progress or the process is closed, those people we're still sending the messages. So we need to be smart here. That if the organization is pretty small, it is going to be easier. So if you don't have any information, it is going to be easier, especially after 1 or 2 interviews, when you have actually a contact to the person that is responsible for the process. It is a good idea because it is proactive, right? Before you have any feedback whatsoever, and if the organization is very, very big and very global, it can be harder, and the
Right.
access is not very very in depth.
That makes sense. And let's go back into this resume. Some people will have pages and pages and pages of resume. How many pages should I send? And do they need all my qualifications? Or where I worked? Or do they need to know my achievement? Do they need to know my mission? It's just hard to know after like 30, 35. You probably have a long resume. So what are you going to send? So to avoid the people will go, oh my gosh, HR goes, this is like a Bible. It's so big. I'm going to close it down. I can't read. AI, please give me a summary. And then you're lost again. So what is important? And also in the letter presentation, would you put, see that these systems are going to filter you out?
Mhm. So um, I want to say that one-pagers resume are myths. So because it was a time that a lot of consultants, career consultants, were saying that you need to put everything on one page because this is what the recruiters actually able to see. But as you mentioned, Franz, that at our age, we have a lot of different experiences, and there are important experiences, and the keywords are important for the robots to see. So if you shorten it to one pager, it is going to be extremely hard to put all of the essence. You need to have very, very high skill in summarizing yourself, and this is super hard. So I wouldn't be so focused on the length of the resume. I will be focused on what is necessary to be there. So first of all, there need to be your contact, and this is not so obvious. I saw a lot of resumes that there wasn't an email address or telephone number, so it needs to be there. So this is the most important. Your name and surname, of course. The skills, key skills, should be a first part of the resume, not the mission, not the summary, because it is a plain text, nobody's reading it. So the key skills that you have, ideally, of course, tailored to the job description that you're applying to. So very concrete skills that you have, and one box for all of the skills: technical skills, systems that you know, languages that you know and you speak, if there are any foreign languages, and on which level, in the scale on between A1 and C2, and social leadership skills as well. So if you are applying for the HR position, for example, as HR specialist, put all of the skills that you have, and it can be problem solving, analytical thinking, critical thinking, recruitment, employer branding, learning and development, SAP, all of those, all of AI tools, of course. All of those things that you know. And this is the first part of the resume. Certifications, trainings, all of the educational part, the education, and it differs from country to country and from industry to industry. But education is not as important as what you actually can do, because this is how the market shifts, and organizations are more interested in what you can do right after you join the organization than what you know, because the information doesn't equal skill. So you can be the smartest person in a room from the theoretical perspective, but in practice, this is a different story. And then there is a story of your job. And the most important thing is not to use a plain text, because nobody is going to read it. Bullets, 3 to 5 bullet points with keywords, the most important things that you are working on and the functions you had. And the most important projects at the end of the resume, they can be like more specified, but it's not very much required. All of the information that can be used as biasing. So for example, hobbies, leisure time exercises, information about your kids, your pets, your religion, your photo. In some countries, the photo is forbidden, even by law, but in some countries, the photo is required. But the photo is the number one thing that will be biasing for recruiters and hiring managers. So I would cut everything that can be biasing in any way. So yeah, I would say this is it from the structure perspective. I would say the most important thing is to show them who you really are and what you actually an expert in. Your expertise is what the organization is buying.
Right. Well, thank you. That's helpful. Also helps me in case, my age 61, I decided to get a new job. I have a 30-page long resume. Just put the keywords. Okay, let me just fill. I got 100 keywords here. I've done so much and I keep doing 100 things because that's me. Apparently I have a synoptic mind, so I have lots and lots of very, very deep interests and I follow all of them. I can't help it.
Multi-passionate, it has a name. It's a multi-passionate person.
Yeah, I also call eclectic and polyglots, chocolate loving artist, photographer, and therapist. It just never ends. So I think they could be confusing depending if you're looking for a job in a pharmaceutical company. Maybe they're not interested in your gardening activities. You know what I mean? You have to decide what is valuable for the HR person that has 8 hours in a day to do the job, can't read a poem. It has to go down to the juice. What are you going to do for this company to move forward from A to B, and which problems are you going to solve? And why are you able to, how are you going to be able to show that you can solve this problem? That's really, it has to come out, right? So it's very anything that we have not touched yet that could be quite useful.
I think that I want to emphasize one thing that you just said in a slightly different manner, that we need to remember that resume and our public profile, LinkedIn, or any other thing is not for us. It is for them. So do we like it or not from the visual perspective, from the copy perspective? It doesn't really matter. The question is, are they going to find it useful for the organizations, for the problems that the organization has, for the needs of the organization at the moment, for the moment of growth of the certain organization? So this is something that is helpful for me when I create a lot of different things, because sometimes, as you mentioned, that especially if we are multi-passionate, we can get carried away and just create something we love. And then we're surprised that nobody wants to use it. So it doesn't really matter if it's a product, if it's a service, or if it's us as people, that we need to treat ourselves as somebody or something quote unquote useful and needed on the market. And this is why we are talking about all of it.
Exactly. Wonderful. I hear you have prepared some tips as well to take home and use straight away.
I think I'm going to just sum up what we were discussing. So, number one, just go and be more tailored with your approach. If you see a job description that you're interested in, go get your tools, get your Canva, get your AI buddy, and just build a resume that is going to be a fit to a certain job description, because it is going to work so much better if you will invest a little bit more time at the very beginning. It will pay out big time. So this is number one. Number two, build yourself. Build your visibility, build yourself as an expert in your area. You can ask yourself, what do I want for other people to talk about when I'm not in the room about me? So this is it. So who I want to be for those people. And you can do it internally, you can do it externally. So number 2, do it internally, be a buddy, be a mentor, get part in projects that are like extraordinary and maybe something different that you are doing on a daily basis. Teach others, do different things. And externally, number 3, be a person visible in the external world. So you can be a speaker at the events, online, offline, you name it. You can get into the community. You can even do one. You can be active on LinkedIn. You can write. You can say things out loud. You can do anything you want. The entry level is very low. It was never easier to actually go and do something valuable for others. So this is number 3, and there are multiple things that you can do, and just pick your poison. Pick something that it is about you and is close to your heart and to your brain, and just do it. And start now, start today, because there's the best time for the planting the tree was 10 years ago, and the next best time is today. So this is it.
That's a great message. Very good, Aleksandra. I'm glad. And this is nice and simple. But a lot of people skip what looks like a very simple thing and they look for very complicated thing. And so then if we go back to square one, these people have to see the CV just jumping on them with interest. So what can we do? We just can work on the mindset that I can do this and I'm going to show them, work on this thing. And also one last comment. It's very useful to reread our CV and the letter, because a lot of people do a lot of copy and paste and then they put twice the same sentence. That doesn't sound very good.
That's true. That's true. Just check with yourself or ask AI agent to do it for you. So this is something that you can do as well.
Exactly. So if you have any more questions, you guys listening here, I hope you will go to find in the description, you will see below, and ask Aleksandra Lemańska if maybe she has something for you, because she's done everything from communication intelligence to whatever that's supporting founders in impossible journeys. I'm reading there all these startup you have there in Poland, and you can speak languages, so you can communicate. Very useful skill, you guys, with a lot of people and help them to move. So if you want to move from A to B and go from the uncertainty of this February, March, April time 2026, everyone is totally worried about AI. Well, you have tools. You can use AI as a tool as well, or you can use your own writing possibilities and analytically pass it maybe to a friend. Show this writing and say, what does this say about me? Is that working? And try maybe, if you have nothing yet, volunteering in that sector where you can build up those skills. Because a lot of people found jobs through volunteering. They were noticed by other people, they were connected. So you never know. It's not the time now to sit home and scroll on Facebook. It's actually the time to see how you can be of help to all these new companies that are coming out. You could be just the right person. Any final words?
I just wanted to say thank you for having me, and I keep my fingers crossed for all of the listeners from the audience, because it is a huge world, and there's an infinite amount of jobs to take, and
Right.
you can do it. You can take it. It is all about the decision, and sometimes we are one decision away from the future that we want to have. So fingers crossed.
One step. Do it today. Thank you, Aleksandra. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you found this valuable, in which case, please like, share it with a friend, maybe subscribe, because we have more episodes coming to help you to really create the life that you want by understanding how your mind works and how the system works. So thank you all, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.